Hello guys, Dan here from Dan's Tech, and in today's video guys I'm going to be bringing you the £1,000 gaming PC. This build guys is going to contain an i7-4790K, that's a quad-core 8-threaded processor with a base clock of 4GHz and a turbo of 4.4GHz. And yeah, for the GPU you're going to be choosing the Asus Arnan 390X. That video card's a little bit slower, than the GTX 980, but it's a lot cheaper, especially here in the UK. So that card's a pretty good choice. And then as always, 250 gig SSD and a 1TB hard drive. It all makes sense, you know, SSD for your operating system programs and maybe one or two games, and then, you know, the 1TB hard drive there for just all your games or your Steam and Origin games, stuff like that. Now, one thing we're doing a little bit different with this build is that we're going to be grabbing the Corsair H80i GT. It's an £80 water cooler from Corsair that'll enable you to get some pretty good overclocks with a 4790K. And also, yeah, we are choosing an RM850 power supply by Corsair. That thing's a little bit pricey, it's just over £100, but to be honest, 850 watt power supply, it's a little bit overkill. But if you guys are wanting to shove a second 390X in the system, since the motherboard we're choosing does support that, and the i7-4790K will definitely be able to keep up, then, you know, you can do that. It's all about upgradability, and if anything, now that we're on the higher kind of PC builds, this is something that I do take in consideration, and that, you know, for you guys that are wanting to maybe upgrade your rigs in, you know, the future, you can do. So yeah, we've got a good power supply, very nice water cooler, and yeah, I've kind of, kind of like shared half the parts we're getting already, but without further ado, let's kind of get into it. I will say all parts are in the description. You find Amazon US and UK links there, and that I do guarantee compatibility with all these parts. Everything will work, and that, yeah, you don't need to worry about even flashing BIOSes. Everything's took into consideration. Everything will work perfectly. There we are. Anyway, let's kind of go into the build, and yeah, let me guys show you what I've chosen, the £1,000 gaming PC. So to get started for the £1,000 gaming PC, for the processor we're going to be grabbing the i7-4790K. This is the personal CPU I have in my own system, and to be honest, it's pretty damn fast and will just chew through anything, video editing or gaming, whatever you throw at it. Now this is a 4-core 8-threaded CPU with a base frequency of 4GHz and a turbo frequency of 4.4GHz. The processor has 8MB of smart cache, and the maximum TDP is 88 watts, so it runs pretty damn cool. Moving on to the CPU cooler, we're going to be grabbing the Corsair H80i GT. This is 120mm radiator and fan water cooling unit. It's an AIO, so you don't need to do any kind of maintenance. It just comes in one package and does allow you to overclock your CPU to at least 4.4GHz, and that is the turbo speed, so you'll be able to run the i7-4790K at its turbo speed all the time. Now, fair enough, you can go for better overclocks if you want to, but if I were you, I would get a better cooler if you wanted to go that route. Now, so the motherboard, we're going to be grabbing the MSI Z97 PCMate motherboard. This is a motherboard with the Z97 Express chipset, so you can expect some rich features like RAID and also 6GB SATA ports. Now this motherboard, first up, it does support 4th and 5th generation of Intel Core processors on the LG1150 socket. It also has 4 DDR3 DIMM slots, supporting up to 3000 MHz RAM and 32GB maximum capacity. The DIMM slots themselves do also support dual channel memory architecture and do support the Intel Extreme Memory profiles to get your RAM running at the maximum possible speed. Now, as for the PCI Express slots and all that kind of stuff, we have 2 PCI Express x16 slots with support for AMD Crossfire technology, and we also have 2 PCI Express x1 slots for Wi-Fi and sound cards, and we also have 2 legacy PCI slots for legacy cards, pun not really intended there. Now, as for connectivity, we have 6 SATA 3 6GB ports, which all support RAID 0, 1, 5 and 10. And as for the USBs, we have 4 USB 3s, 2 on the back panel, 2 via internal USB headers, and then yeah, we do also have 8 USB 2 ports, 4 ports via the back panel, and 4 ports through internal USB headers. Now, as for the RAM, we're going to be grabbing the forever cheap Kingston HyperX 3 memory. We're going to be picking up 2 4GB blue memory modules running at 1866MHz for under £32. Core specs include 8GB total capacity and also the speed 1866MHz and cache latency of 10. And also the storage, we're going to be grabbing an SSD and also a hard drive, as explained at the beginning. So yeah, for the SSD, we're going to be grabbing the Samsung 850 EVO, a 250GB drive. It's a 2.5-inch internal SSD with read speeds all the way up to 540 megabytes per second and write speeds up to 520 megabytes per second. This is all backed by a 5-year warranty by Samsung itself, so yeah, if you do have any problems with the SSD or it dies, you can get a replacement. Now as for the hard drive, we're going to be grabbing a generic Seagate Barracuda 1TB drive, 7 to 200 RPM, 64 megabytes of cache, and it does run via the 6 gigabit SATA interface. There we are. Now as for the GPU, we're going to be grabbing the Asus R9 390X. It's an 8GB video card. Now this card itself has 2816 stream processors, all running at 1070 MHz. This thing is pretty damn fast, and it also has 8GB of GDDR5 VRAM via a 512-bit memory interface. Now as for the ports, this card has 3 display ports, a DVI-D and also HDMI. And as for power, this card does, well, just so the card can use up to 300 watts of total power, so you do need a 6-pin and also an 8-pin PCI Express power connector. We do have these on the power supply, so no need to worry about that. Now the card itself is pretty long at 30 centimeters, but we have took this in consideration, and here we have chosen the Corsair 200R, and this will definitely fit in there. Now I will say the 390X is pretty damn fast. It's not as fast as the GTX 980, but it is considerably cheaper than the 980, so there we are. Now as for the case, we're going to be grabbing the Corsair Carbide series. It's a 200R. Now this is a compact ATX case, and as again I'll mention it, as Corsair put on their website, it's a case for easy builds, and personally for me, looking inside the case, it's a very good internal layout. It does support up to 4 hard drives and 4 SSDs at the same time, which is absolutely brilliant. And as for graphic cards, all the way up to 30 centimeters with room up to 43 centimeter graphic cards if the hard drive cages are removed. And also CPU coolers, it supports up to 16 centimeter height coolers, and as for fans, it can support up to 8 different locations of fans, depending on your particular hard drive configurations that you go with. As for the power supply, we're going to be grabbing the PSU that I have in my own personal system. This is the Corsair RM850. Now this is a gold certified modular 850 watt power supply, which to be honest is pretty damn good. It looks good and it's very, very quiet. Now just on that note of being quiet, you need to be using at least 40% of the output load for the PSU fan to actually turn on. And when it is turned on, just because it is a 140mm fan, it is pretty damn quiet. Now as for the connectors, you do get 8 4-pin peripheral connectors, 6 PCI connectors, and also 10 SATA connectors. This power supply is fully loaded, and with it being modular, all the cables that you aren't using you can remove, so that the cable management inside your case is at its best. And now let's kind of conclude on the £1,000 gaming PC. So guys, there we were. There are all the parts of the £1,000 gaming PC. You can expect to play any single game you want to at 1080p and 1440p with this build. This build is pretty damn high end, and if anything, future compatibility and future kind of upgrades and stuff has definitely been taken in consideration with this build. As I said at the beginning, you can shove another 390X into this build in the future if you want to. The board does support Crossfire, and as I said at the beginning as well, the i7 will definitely keep up with that. We are choosing an SSD and a hard drive. We have got a really nice power supply and case. It's just a brilliant build for £1,000. You're going to get a lot here. It is expensive at £1,000, but you're getting a lot of performance, and if anything, you should be very happy with this. And as I said, all the upgradability options are there, so brilliant. Anyway guys, as always, feel free to like, comment, and also subscribe. I will say, as again, all parts are in the description, and that if you guys do want to check out any other of these PC builds for November/December of 2015, there'll be a playlist there in the description. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in my next video. Goodbye.